What's going on, everyone? It's Crazy Russian 86 here, and welcome back to another video. Another public drinking video for the real PewDiePie. And honestly, this is not really public drinking video, because I'm drinking beer right outside of my apartment complex. So I don't know if that could be considered public drinking. And there are no cops around. And I'm not going anywhere outside of my apartment complex. Just FYI for idiots out there. Now, even if I want to do public drinking, if you really want to help me in my life, keep your fucking mouth shut. Because I know what I'm doing and it's none of your fucking business. Malt liquor. But this time it's not even a public drinking anyway, so fuck the real PewDiePie. You know, in one of my latest live streams, some people's been asking me what do I think about, you know, what's going on in Afghanistan. And today in the morning I happened to watch the video about it. And I noticed that the Americans, they are running away from there, they're taking away American troops, they're leaving these people alone, and Taliban is getting to power in Afghanistan. And this time, these people are saying that, you know what, we want the Muslim rule, we want to live according to Allah, and we want nothing else but radical Islam. We want our women to be dressed modestly according to our traditions. And we are willing to die for our beliefs. And Americans started leaving them alone. And they've been saying, you know, people gonna die, but we are willing, you know, to kill people and die for our beliefs. And this is how we want to live our lives. And I say there is nothing wrong with that. They don't want to be oppressed by Americans. And yeah, let them live how they want. And I think that American people, they should leave these people alone. You know, when I was in Russia, we didn't study American history when I was there. But one thing we studied about America. That we studied that America is like a world gendarme, that America likes to control everyone. And when I was in Russia, I used to have some friends and some people who were showing, look, this is Russians. We have our military, we have our tanks, we have our air force is better than Americans do. Our military, our air force is stronger and better. It may be not looking as good, it may look like trash, but it's actually more effective and efficient. And America's stuff is actually suck, even though it looks good. This is what Russian people think about America. Or thought. That we are actually stronger than Americans. But their stuff it just looks better and more beautiful. So there was some anti-American sentiment in Russia. And I faced it a little bit growing up. But now, living in America and seeing things for what they are, I can say yes, we are not the same. Yes, we are different. But we can still understand each other. And I think that the Zionists, they are getting Russians against Americans, and they are making everybody fight with each other while they are getting power. Getting back to the story of Jacob and Esau. Let all the go and fight with each other while we the Jews gonna rule the world. The Zionist Jews I'm talking about. I'm not talking about real God-fearing, not really Karta Jews. Who are the real Jews, of course? I'm talking about this Zionists. And this fucking stupid bitch, the real PewDiePie, been saying, you know what, it's your stupidity, and you are blaming Zionism, and in reality you're the child who doesn't know what you're doing. And she was referring me, oh, I liked back in 2007, I used to be killing people and all alone, and nobody was letting, and people were letting me do what I want. Well, what was in 2007? In my opinion, I didn't do nothing wrong back in 2007. Yes, I know I was hard to work with, but I don't think that I did anything wrong when it comes to the jobs and the way I was doing things. And quite honestly, I don't regret nothing. I know I was working at Brezov Center and I was getting along well with my boss, Rabbi Goldberg, but I couldn't get along with his wife, and I felt like she was a bitch. I didn't really like her. And I know that my boss didn't want me to work with people, and I had a lot of eager, you know. I was eager, you know, to learn how to work with people, how to ring up sales, do things like that. And my boss didn't want me to do it that much. Now I understand why. Because of my poor social skills, because I didn't know how to talk to people and deal with people. I was kind of wild back then. But one thing, I knew what I was doing. I was not really screwing up. And even though I was a youngster, I was like 20 years old, and I was acting arrogant and cocky and rude, and I didn't give a fuck. I actually had a point, because in some ways I was actually better than some of other people I was working with. You know, I used to enter stuff using point of sale. And I remember we used to have some employees. They were like women, maybe my age, maybe a little older. You know, like 40-year-old, 30s, I don't know. They used to do some bookkeeping for Rabbi Goldberg. And they used to fuck up big time. They didn't do a good job at all. Even though they were older than me, but they were really doing poor job. Because when they were entering stuff, they used to enter the same item 5 times, just simply because the description was different. But it was the same item. So the whole system was fucked up, because they had all of these items of merchandise, all of the Jewish items entered five times. The same items been entered 5 times, each time. So yes, I was arrogant, I was rude, I was little guy at that time. But when I was working with point of sale, with QuickBooks point of sale at the time, I was not making these craziest mistakes. And more so, there was one guy who used to work there, his name was David. He used to fix my computer once. He was a funny guy, perhaps he had Asperger's himself. But guess what? He was very meticulous in his job, and he cleaned up point of sale to the point where he actually made this program being in order. So, and these people been treating me like Asperger's, I guess. Say what, do what, who wrote. Which of course in Russia nobody talks to people like that. In Russia people only used to tell me, oh, we're gonna think that you're stupid until you're gonna learn how to talk to people. Like people in Russia can say things like that, yes. But say what, do what? Nobody in Russia talks like that. You know. So fuck all these people. I didn't do nothing wrong in 2007 and I don't regret nothing what I've been doing. Yes, I didn't know how to interact with people through that, but quite honestly, I see how people are and how they think and how they do things, and I can say one thing. I don't even want to interact with people like that. And that has nothing to do with any kind of disability or disorder or whatever. Because we're not all the same anyway. See, if you have developmental disability, it means what? You have hard time doing things, right? But if you know how to do things, but you have different mentality and you don't want to do things this way or that way, but you're perfectly capable of doing things, that's a whole different issue, which has nothing to do with any kind of disability. And quite honestly, I know that people have issues with the way I do things, but it goes both ways. Because I also have issues with the way American people do things as well. And I can give you concrete examples. Like, I don't like the way American people wash dishes. I don't like when they consider good workers who comes on time, leaves on time, right? But they completely ignore the fact that if you're not washing dishes properly, you're not a good worker. Even if you come on time and leave on time. In my opinion, of course. Why? Because you don't wash dishes right. Just the fact that you rinse the dishes a little bit around and through the dishwasher doesn't mean you're doing your job right, because if you have a stains from fucking cheese and other things, you know, it's like the dishes are sanitized but they're still not clean. What if I want to take my time and clean stuff? Granted, okay, I take my time, I leave late. I know you have an issue with that, but A, I want to do the job right, and B, I don't have an ability to work as fast as some people do, okay? We're all different, we are not the same. Some people can work fast, some people cannot. You can teach me how to do the job, but you cannot make me work fast because I don't have natural abilities for it. You know, like some people. And some people, they may be working fast, but the quality of the job sucks. Are they good workers? I don't think so. So that's my point. Now the other jobs too. People didn't like the way I was doing things. I need to get fired. They were afraid of firing me because they were thinking I'm crazy. Good. You need to tolerate me, motherfuckers. I need to get money and get things I want, and I won't do the job how I want to do it because it makes sense to me, and I'm doing the job based on what I can do, you know. Can you change the way I do things? No. You cannot be me. You cannot give me your abilities because I'm not you, right? And you cannot change my mindset either because I have my own mind. It has nothing to do with any kind of disability. Just the fact that I don't know how to get along with people, or I don't know how to communicate to people for whatever reason, doesn't mean that I don't have my ideas. So now, when you're trying to tell me that I should be doing things different way, you're taking my freedoms away from me. Because you're forcing me to live my life how I don't want to live it. See? So you're taking my freedoms away from me. When I'm trying to work as hard as I can based on my ability and based on the way I think. And whatever I deviate from the rules and norms, I have a reason for it. Why? Because I think that the rules and norms don't apply to me, that it's okay for me to deviate because I can do the job better my way, and that sometimes it's okay to deviate from the rules as long as you can, do the job and not hurt anybody else. And I just don't see anything wrong with it. And it works for me. I'm not hurting anybody. I'm not killing anybody. So throwing boxes because I want to work faster, as long as I'm not damaging merchandise, so what? Oh, okay, I'm not gonna do it, then what? I will be leaving the space on top, and then people will be yelling at me that I work faster, and I'm gonna say I can't. Now, if people think I'm crazy, they're gonna be forced to tolerate me, so I can do the job and progress and get better at what I'm doing. So by trying to change me, what you doing? You're destroying my life. And the same thing goes for these people in Afghanistan. They want to live under Sharia law. They want to be Orthodox Muslim radicals. They cannot accept to be living an American way because it just doesn't work for them. So let them live how they want. And me living in America, I've been seeing it a lot. I used to come from Russia and I was acting like I would act in Russia. It didn't fly in America very well. And then people saw there is something wrong with me, and of course I understand now. They started to think that the reason why I do things is because of that thing. Which of course has nothing to do with my job, but I know it. And people everywhere think that way. If they see that there's something off about the individual, they are thinking that the reason why this individual does things that way is because there's something wrong with that person. Which is again not true, because like I said, you may have disabilities, you may have challenges. What does it mean? You're not going to be able to learn as fast or whatever. But people can teach you how to do things. But the way you do things and the way you think, that's a whole different subject. This is not something people can teach you. The same thing with anxiety around people or autistic behaviors, whatever. People can teach that person how to be or whatever, but if person have anxiety around people or have a one-track mind, this is not something you can teach. That's just a way of being, You cannot teach that to people. You can teach an individual how to take care of themselves, how to clean, how to do the job. But the way people gonna work, this is beyond your control, because you're not them. They're not you. They have different abilities, they have different skill sets, they have different way of thinking. You cannot put your head on their shoulders. And that has nothing to do with being normal or being crazy or whatever. So, and as a matter of fact, being a psychopath anyway, they're also wired differently. You cannot teach a psychopath to be normal. So, if people have no empathy, if people don't give a fuck, if people can kill somebody without feeling any kind of feelings, you can explain to them that this is not normal, they can understand it. But you cannot teach them to give a fuck, So, but we all want to have right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. So, And this is not freedom. But then again, we are not built to be free. So, what does it mean to be free? It's to leave people alone, let me do what they do, and don't deal with them. And that's okay, because you know what? We as people, we cannot, no matter how civilized and smart we are and understanding, we cannot deal with people who are not like us. Because we are not the same, we don't see eye to eye with each other, we don't have the same ability, we don't have the same culture, we don't have the same mentality. And people just cannot bridge these barriers, you know. And yes, I'm being Americanized. I learned how to talk to Americans a little bit better, but I cannot change who I am. I can change the way I interact with people, but I cannot change who I am. And also, I cannot be like Americans because I was not raised here. I was not born here. And then at the end of the day, white Americans and me, we have different genetics, which means that we have different abilities for doing things. So, cannot help that either, because we are not all the same. We can understand each other, but we are not all the same. You know, we are not all the same. So, but you know, doing what I've been doing definitely taught me how to interact with people better. But that's it, you know, that's it. What can I do? Instead of going off on people, just don't talk to them. Okay. Or, you know, like I said, Americans, they're not bad people. They're really not. I was afraid of them before because I was thinking that they're trying to force me to do things differently or be different. But now I understand how things run. But, like I said, understanding doesn't mean that I'm gonna accept it, I'm gonna agree with it, and I'm gonna follow it, you know? Because I have my own mind and my own ideas. And I wanna live my life the way I think is right. We can have a dialogue, but, you know, I have my own ways and my own ideas. And I'm doing things how I want because I think that this my way is the way to go. That's why. So, now you can try to prove me otherwise. I'm willing to talk. And I used to have this conversation with my bosses before. Like one of my bosses, for example. You know, I've been telling you, you know what, I want to do things my way. I understand that, you know, it's an hourly job. If I cannot do the job in 3.5 hours, I'm a bad worker. But I've been saying, for the way I do things, the way that I like all the tables to be clean and everything, in order for me to do it in 3.5 hours, instead of coming at 3:30 and leaving at 7, I better off come at 4 and leave at 7:30. That way I can do my job the way I want to do it, and I can clean all the tables, and I can do the job right. I need that accommodation because I want to do the job the best way. And I think that that's the best course of action. Because I want to clean well, I want to serve well, and I don't see the point of coming early, doing nothing for half an hour, or we can come later, you know. Because we don't start serving till 4:30 anyway. And to set up half an hour is enough. I don't need an hour for that. And then what? Do that in expense of like leaving the tables dirty? So say, oh, I'm a good worker. I came at 3:30, I left at 7, but then tables looks like shit. And you're telling it a good job, really? Fuck that. That's not a good job. I would rather come at 4, leave at 7:30 and do the good job how I want to do it. So, certainly I have another issue that I was doing things my way and I didn't realize like how my job affects others. But then, you know, you can explain me that. And that, I guess, has something to do with, you know, with autism, whatever, true. Not seeing the big picture. But then, with that you can just explain, hey, we need to do the job this way because, it's easier for the nurses to be done that way. But people don't want to say, they don't want to communicate to you like that, see? So, communication is the key. We can all communicate and understand each other. But then again, forcing me to change against my will, this is big no-no. I have an issue with that. But I can accommodate you and we can try to find the way, we can work things out. But not in expense of me starting working like American, taking bad Americans' ways. Why do I need to accept Americans' ways if I think that this is not the way to go? Why? Why you not allowing me to think how I want to think, We can compromise, but then again, there are certain things I just not willing to compromise, so I would rather go crazy and make people think that I'm crazy, so I can work and do things how I want, how I think it's right. And yes, you can correct me, if I'm a big pain in the ass, we can talk about it, but there are certain ways I'm just not willing to correct because I just feel like what I'm doing is the way to go, So, that's that. And I cannot change the way I do things because, I'm not you, my abilities are not the same as your abilities, so what can I do? We have no reason to treat me like I'm fucking retarded, or I don't know what I'm doing, or I cannot help myself, I don't know, fuck that shit. I want to be a productive member of society. I just want to do it on my terms and do it based on my abilities, that's all. That's called freedom in my eyes. So, yeah. We all should have our freedoms. That's why props to American troops for leaving Afghanistan. You should get out of here and focus on America. There are white and black Americans who have a lot of problems in your country. Focus on that. And that leads to another video I've been watching this morning of Candace Owens. I fucking love that woman. She is awesome. Candace Owens is a great black woman. And they were talking about, that the big issue is the white supremacy. And they were saying, you black woman, you should hate white people because white supremacy means that white people are better than blacks, it's against blacks and all of that. And she was saying, what, fuck that. She downplayed that. She said, yes, white supremacy is a problem, but I think that black people have a bigger problems. The fact that black people not educated, the fact that we have poverty and all of that, that's a bigger problem for black people than white supremacy. So, white supremacy is a problem for the Jews because Jews don't like the fact that white people want to be free and they don't want to accept the Zionist rule. But that's a whole different issue, and that's why they're trying to get white against blacks. And black people are kind of sovereign saying, what, black people have bigger problems. We need to focus on education and poverty, and things like that. Not on white supremacy. So, she's right. She's been talking about that black people are freaking illiterate, and that's a real problem. Not white supremacy, but lack of education and illiteracy. So, yeah. Fucking love that woman. She also for the traditionalism too. She's like, yes, I'm a woman, but I'm opposed feminism because men and women, we are not the same, We are not biologically the same, so. That's that. And I've been watching these videos too, where a man been fighting women. Where that guy dressed as a skeleton was coming against feminists and he was beating the crap out of them. He didn't give a fuck. He's like, okay, you're saying woman power? Alright, I'll show you the power. I'm fucking wrestler, alright. And beat them all up. Very fast too. Especially that fat black female. He came and beat the shit out of her. Her face was covered in blood. It was big black female. Fat too. So. And of course some people will say, oh, this is misogyny. I mean, no, it's not. It's wrong with you forcing people to do things which they're not equipped for and telling people, oh, you can just do whatever you want. No, you cannot. You can do what you can based on your abilities. And then it still leads to oppression. Because why are you forcing me to be like white or black American, for example, when I'm not that? Why are you forcing me to do things certain way when I'm not equipped for that? Why are you forcing me to follow your rules or do things certain way when I can clearly see, when I can do things differently and I achieve better results based on my abilities? Why are you not allowing me to be myself? That's like taking my freedom away from me. See, American rules are for American people. When it comes to foreigners or other people with different mentalities, different abilities, these rules may not apply to them. And that's just the reality of it, you know. Rules are based on the majority of people. What if you're not a majority? So, what can you do? I cannot be tall. I cannot have blonde hair and blue eyes. I was not born that way, you know. What do you want me to do? And obviously, a white American woman, they like tall guys with blonde hair and blue eyes. And I'm not that. Sure, they may not find me attractive, but that's why I may not be popular, but then again, I can only be me. So, I can only be me. And yes, people will have issue with it, but that's not subject to change. And now I'm looking at these people at the pool. Sometimes I feel like, damn, I would like to go to the pool too. That's like poolside by my apartment. Do I have a legal right to drink a beer? I think I do. And cops have no right to arrest me because I'm actually on the poolside by my apartment complex, not in the middle of nowhere. So, I'm not breaking no laws. And I dealt with cops, you know, they're actually freaking nice people. You know? And I've been seeing a lot of people saying, support the police, defund Democrats. And a lot of people freaking love the police. And they're reasonable too, you know, the policemen are reasonable. I'm not even been speeding that much, I'm not been getting much tickets. Sometimes I've been speeding when I saw there is no police around. But I've been always careful. And why people should worry about me? There are a lot of crazy people all over, and I've been seeing a lot of accidents everywhere I go. So, shit. While I've been driving, I've been seeing cars on fire, straight up. Cars on fucking fire. Let me start my shifts right here. Tastitas, you know. And I got some smooth ranch dip, you know. All those freaking Zionists who put Russians against America. The Russian people been saying that. Like, look, the Zionists or the Jews who make us hate Anglo-Saxons. God bless America. That's all I can say. I may not be able to be friends with these people, but these people are not as bad as my Jewish parents portrayed them to be. That's why I hate being, you know, I don't like to feel like I'm against the world. You know? I want to be free. I want to figure out on my own whom I can and cannot deal with. With other people telling me whom to be friends with, whom to date, and all of that. You know? It's my fucking business, you know? And I don't have to be like everybody else. I have a right to be different. I have a right to think differently and do things differently. Even if people don't understand it or don't approve of it, well, we can always talk about things. And certain things, well, certain things about people cannot be changed. But just because I have certain behaviors, which are autistic behaviors, which I know about, it's so fucking what? Yes, I do. But I still can do the job and live how I want. In spite of that, I still can do things and do the job and have my own opinions and ideas. Even though I have some weird behavior, so what? Thomas Jefferson had behaviors too, and he was American president. He couldn't deal with loud noises. That's autistic behavior right there. It didn't stop him from being American president. And at that time, 200 years ago, nobody cared. I'm sure maybe there's some people thought that Thomas Jefferson was weird, but he still was an American president. So fucking what? Eminem publicly talked about it. He's still making millions and he's the fastest rapper. He's even rapping faster than Twista. White rapper. His rap God is the fastest rap. What can you say about that? That means shit. I needed that beer. Like my life and people around me been making me like super depressed. And a lot of times doing my job on a situation where I was ready to fucking get into the fight with some people. And whenever people say ha ha ha, you cannot hurt anyone, ha ha ha, that's actually make me wanna prove to people otherwise and get into the fight with people. But then I don't want to do it because I don't want to have a consequences. But then I don't like people, you know, pushing me to act that way, you know. But whenever people are saying ha ha ha, you're not a normal person, ha ha ha, you don't know what you're doing, ha ha ha, you know, all of that shit, or people talking to me like I'm fucking stupid or whatever, or they're trying to correct my behavior, yeah, that definitely make me want to fuck them up and then do things how I want to do it. And that's it. If people wouldn't be doing that, they would be just like tell me, okay, you know what, yeah, if there would be more returns or whatever, we'd let you know, that's cool. Instead of talking to me like I don't know what I'm doing, like, you can just tell me, well, there are no more returns. If there were any returns, I will let you know. I'm like, okay, I just want to make sure. You know, you don't have to talk to me like I'm fucking stupid or whatever, or talking to me like Asperger's, which doesn't even make sense to me because nobody in Russia even talks like that, okay? And when you're telling me, oh, you child, you don't know what you're doing, you child, and I'm thinking that there's nothing wrong with what I do, what I want to do, I want to fuck you up because of it, you know? So, and the only reason why I don't fucking punch you in the face because of the police and the consequences, but when you're treating me like that, yeah, I want to fuck you up. I want to get into the fight because of it, for real, you know? You're telling me I'm a child who doesn't know what I'm doing and I feel differently, yeah. I want to show you that I'm an adult, you know? And I'm going to show you who is the boss here and it's not you, you know? That's how I feel, honestly, you know? I'm just not acting like I'm a boss because I'm afraid of the consequences, that's all. But the way I think that I'm right, you're wrong, fuck you. You know, I only kissing up to you because I'm afraid, you know, of the police and all other bullshit. But I still think that I'm right and you're wrong, so I don't care. And the fact that I'm socially inept, like I said so many times, doesn't mean that I'm stupid, that I don't know what I'm doing. Sometimes when I'm concentrate and do things, I actually do the job better. When people actually telling me shit, for me that's like a detriment to my job. Because if I don't have a 100% concentration on what I'm doing, it just messes with my psyche. It's actually distracts me from working, really. And messing with my ways, it's also, makes me go crazy because, I don't like change and, I don't want to deal with things which don't even make no fucking sense, Like, why should I do something which doesn't make no sense to me? And when I say something and I get angry and go crazy, you tell me I'm stupid. Look. Why should I, it just doesn't make no fucking sense, I'm trying to work, people telling me that I need help, when I'm trying to build myself up to be better at what I'm doing. Like what? You don't want me to work? Or they think that I'm gonna get hurt because I do things in a dangerous way? Well, that's what you think, but you're not me, remember that. That's the way for me to do the job and get bigger and stronger. I just cannot function any other way. If I'm gonna start talking to people while I'm so focused on work, guess what? I'm gonna stop and start talking, and then my productivity is gonna go down. And I just cannot help it because this is how I am. I'm trying to change, but it's just hard for me because I guess I was born that way. It's hard for me to like multitask, and work while I'm talking to people, because then if I start talking I can just get distracted, I just can't help it. So when I'm trying to do the job the best way possible with my abilities, if people are getting to my face, it irritates me, and also it kind of makes me stop my job because I feel like I want to be nice to people, I want to talk to them, but then if I start to be focused on conversation, then I stop working because I just get into the conversation so deeply that I just stop what I'm doing and I start talking to people because I'm too focused on talk. It's just how I am, just cannot help it, just cannot help it. Fuck. No. When I eat these chips and drink a beer, I feel happy about my life. Because I need some dopamine in order for me not to get depressed. And I don't drink that much, but I feel like I need some alcohol in my system, because without it, dealing with this reality and dealing with people makes me feel depressed and makes me feel like this life is pointless. And yes, I'm not gonna commit suicide because I'm afraid of it, but a lot of times I feel like everything is just pointless, you know, like the jobs and everything, and all these fucking stupid people who makes me feel depressed and angry because they trying to change me, you know, like I just feel like I just don't want to deal with nobody. I just want to run away from people. People just making me feel that way every day, you know. People making me feel like I just want to run away and just like get the money so I can get myself a place, so I can get myself a fucking, you know, border, and alienate myself from society, you know. People making me feel like I just want to get the money, do the job so I can alienate myself and be free, so I can live how I want, because other people don't let me do it, you know. But now I'm seeing there's a lot of people coming to that pool